in, or I'll get my Latinx libertarian boogaloo boy wife to come over here from our wheat farm with his AR-15.
Did somebody say boy wife? They better not be making it their whole personality.
So, what are your thoughts on pegging?
You gotta go from chud to Chad. Get yourself a trad hairdo.
What's up, brokey? What color's your Bugatti?
So you're a Tate Maxer, huh? Isn't that guy a sex trafficker?
Nah, he just puts women back in their place. Learned it all in Hustlers University.
Yeah, hold on, you don't have male pattern baldness. You're just that chud from earlier.
Hey everyone, let's go Brandon!
Go right on in, Top G. Sorry.
I'm here for MAGA Drag Queen Story Hour, and don't worry, I won't make it my whole personality.
You're not a heckin' wholesome Republican trans POC we can use as a mascot. Get out of here. Maybe if you drink some Black Rifle coffee and use dude wipes, then we can talk, little chud.
Alright, you guys gotta own a libtard snowflake epic Shapiro style. That'll get you in for sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, Snowflake. Did I hurt your feelings? Go ahead and cancel me, you fucking lib fart. Damn, I'm really in the mood to destroy a snowflake with facts and logic.
Oh yeah? What about that guy?
That man is clearly a red-blooded American patriot, not like that cock.
My pronouns are ze, zai, zo, zum.
Actually, woke crybaby, there are only 4 genders, as the good Lord intended. Triggered much?
I'm full of love, and you're full of hate. I'll kill you, you hateful piece of shit.
Imagine the outrage if the roles were reversed.
Wait, no. Facts and logic. Your moral superiority is too based. I'm getting canceled. Holy Fauci, you own that snowflake harder than Steven Crowder owned his wife. It would be my honor to accept your precious tax dollars.
I'm gonna drain the swamp! Sandy, did the red wave save us all?
All those Tradcath Mexican immigrants voted blue.
They prefer Latinx, you fucking bigot.
Latinx, eh? I think you belong at that political party.
Libertarian!
Welcome in to the latest edition of The Legacy Ride. I think that's episode 7. I don't have Andrew here to correct me, so who knows. But we got an episode for you, and thank you for Noel Olen to step it up and be my Andrew for this episode. So I am the Legacy of Jennifer Ent Kaiser. I'm Zachary Kaiser. I'm your captain of this enterprise. D, of course. No C, no E. It's the best one. And let's bring the man of the hour on. So how are you doing tonight, Noel?
I'm doing, brother. I'm doing great, brother. Thank you. I'm Noel Olen, aka the Cajun Libertarian, and I'm excited to have fun with this. I actually wrote a couple of notes down from that SpongeBob video, which is kind of wild and all over the place, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to step in. You've stepped in for me a bunch, like on a immediate call. Brother, can you help right now? Yeah, and you did that. So I'm absolutely happy to be here for you.
Hey, that's
same as you've been for me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's thank you. So that's what we got to do, man, because we both have a lot of things to say, and we got to just step out and do what we got to do with each other. So it's a big old community, and we got to provide for that family, community. I mean, we're all in this together. So.
Yep, and Joel Ellenwood already put 3 fires up on the screen, so we're in good business. We're in good company already.
We're definitely in good company right there. So follow Joel at Infinite Zeal. So if you haven't already, cool dude, good guy. Make sure you give him a follow, everybody. So in the meantime, though, speaking of it's all over the place, but we do fun stuff here on the Legacy Rights. So. Now that we're live, we got to do the funny little bumpers at the intro. So,
nice.
But it is all over the place, but it kind of has a ring to all the shenanigans that's going on in, I don't know, just America, the world, everything. So, especially during election season, a lot of crazy stuff, man. And then the Israel cucking. I mean, speaking of Israel. Are we about to go to war with Iran?
No. Israel can handle herself. She's a big girl.
Mhm.
Yes, she has been um, absolutely supplied with American technology and American education. If we look back through history, that is a 6 million person population of a
Mhm.
country that is surrounded by people that hate them. And we exported our education and our technological advances to um, what I would believe that our first instincts were this is the country of the Bible, and this is what we need to do to supply them. And
Mhm.
regardless of whether you think that's true or not, I would absolutely say that we did exactly that,
Mhm.
in which we exported knowledge, education, and military efficacy to a Middle Eastern country that kind of really didn't have, or at least their surrounding territories did not possess the ability to
Mhm.
even adopt that concept.
Yeah, kind of a backwater without the backing of the West and the United States. It'd just be a little backwater, and you probably wouldn't have a Jewish state. So, what, regardless on where anybody stands with whether Israel should exist or not, I mean, I think people have a right to exist. I don't care about your political philosophy or whether a state should exist. I don't think government should exist. Period. I think we can all manage locally and in our own little niche community. But I
Sure, but
mean,
it does.
reality, we have governments, right? So,
Right.
I mean, we got to look at it like that. Is Israel committing atrocities? Sure. Is Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, the United States? I mean, do everybody commits atrocities? It's just it's about part of the living in this
Human
world that
nature.
we live in. It is. It's human
Yeah,
nature.
it's just
So,
human nature. I mean, like to try to isolate Israel as a
mm-mm,
somehow evil entity, or even like I have, which I've had to, come to terms with Jesus, uh, the United States military industrial complex, to isolate these entities as like some sort of
mhm,
exceptional evil. That's ridiculous. No, this is just how people in power work. And I'm not condoning or advocating or condemning anything that any government has done specifically. I'm talking about the entity as a whole, right? The
mhm,
government as a whole. Any government, any state that is ran by people, which will be corrupted, will be corrupted.
mhm,
And I think that ultimately, and now I am going to bring it back to the Bible. If you look throughout history, world history, biblical history is world history. If you look throughout history, the species, the active appearance in just existence of the Jewish community has been persecuted.
mhm,
We can look through all of the recorded history that we have, and we know this to be true. So I'm just asking why. And then why do we continue this even after knowing, if you can just look back? Why?
mhm,
Why do we continue to this specific group of people? Why do we continue to isolate them as they're some sort of group that's special amongst other races or religions? And I think if you dig into the answer of why, if you dig into the question, let me say it like that. If you dig into the
mhm,
question of why, then I don't think you come up with a valid answer other than you're just a racist.
Yeah, everybody's a bigot in their own case, right? So we all come from different cultures. We're always, I mean, fear
De-
usually
de-
leads to hate. So, I mean, Star Wars is exactly the
define
analogy that we're
bigot.
going to use. So, what is a bigot?
Yeah,
What is a
define
woman?
bigot.
Yeah. What is a bigot and what is a woman, right?
A woman
No, a
is
big, yeah.
an adult human, female, biological female, right? But what is
Well,
a bigot?
well, you see that's where in society today, I think that's where we're losing it because everybody's a bigot in today's society. If you if you don't align with the other person or the other culture or the other team's beliefs, what is the what is the first thing that the especially on the left, but what is the first thing they go to? You're a racist or you're a bigot. I mean, it's kind of lost its element of its defined element anymore.
So what is a
So how
Zionist?
so a Zionist typically would be someone who effectively believes in the right of the Jewish homeland. Effectively,
The Jewish state of Israel as
yeah.
acknowledged by
Mhm.
universal law.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do
Or
you
if you were a
disagree with that?
Rasta, yeah. Well, I was gonna say, or if you're a Rasta, then Zion is Ethiopia. But I digress. But do I believe that the Jews have a right to their homeland? Of course.
So
But
you believe in a
yeah,
Jewish state?
I don't believe in the Jewish state for what it is now. What it
Why?
has become, the politics and the statism, the violence that honestly the violence that politics and governments commit on each other every day.
Okay, but that's applicable to every government ever.
But
I'm talking
yeah.
about why do you and correct me if I'm wrong, please. I'm asking you honestly. Do you
Oh, I'm
believe that Israel is a legitimate
oh, of
Jewish
course.
state?
Of course. Yeah, Jerusalem is the holiest city of the in world history. I mean,
So where do we
the
go from
temple,
here?
yeah, the Temple Mount.
You know what I mean?
I
Where do
don't
we
know.
go from here? Because this conversation I've avoided at great lengths, right? Because
Mhm.
I'm just not. Uh, it's going to devolve into bibliography. It's going to
Yeah.
devolve into biblical history. It just inevitably will. So if we
Mhm.
can avoid the biblical history of it, while we agree, you and I, that
Mhm.
I don't condone everything that the government is doing because they're a
Mhm.
government filled with human beings, and human beings are fallible according to the word of God, even the Jewish scripture.
Mhm.
How do we get to a point where we can start to objectively analyze how Israel, the only Jewish state, which I do believe, I am a Zionist. I am. I believe that Israel is the promised land to that people per the Bible.
Mhm.
It needs to be, its mindset of government, just like ours, needs manufacturing. But how do we get to the point of where we can realize that the Jews need a state, which they have, but we also need to be able to criticize their government without being labeled as anti Semitic or pro military industrial complex. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. I think the way to get away from the anti-Semitism aspect is you got to understand that every every one of the peoples that are in the Middle East are Semitic. They come from a Semitic background, whether they're Arab, whether Israeli, whatever. I mean, Jew doesn't matter. They're all Semitic. So we need to get this anti-Semitism away from just the Jewish narrative, this ADL uh, garbage propagated narrative. Like anti-Semitism is in fact the people that are in the region. They come from a culture, a diversified culture of that region of Semitic peoples. What I mean, the Moabites, the Edomites, the Hittites. I mean, it goes way back. All these people come from this general area. The Israelites or the Hebrews. So we need to take anti-Semitism and just chuck it out the window. Like stop using that as a tool to derail somebody's criticisms towards the government of Israel and the Zionist
Right.
movement. And then on top of that, we also just need to learn history and educate ourselves that there's problems here because of politics and policy post World War One, that it goes way back, and it goes further than that. And the Zionist movement goes further than that, but it goes back to the Jews deciphering that they wanted their own land back. This goes to the 19th century when the Zionist movement was formed, and then you turn around and you go into World War One, post World War One, Balfour Doctrine, um, and then you go from there, and then you see the turmoil that really the British mandate, the British occupation, kind of caused throughout the 1920s and the 1930s. It's a mess of things, and when you put people together, just generations that have been on land, and then put a new people in, you're going to have conflict.
So, what does that have to do with the construct of what we have today?
I think Israel, it today's conflict, I honestly think it goes back towards Cold War foreign policy.
Really?
It would, yeah, because Israel was a beacon in the to for the Western powers. Because this is at the end of World War One, you had the secret deals that were made into official deals for when the Ottomans surrendered and signed their peace at Versailles, and it split the Middle East in half. The French took what is Syria, and the British took Arabia and the Levant as
So
their little
I
control
I
zone.
don't think the French
So,
actually ever took Syria.
well,
I'll say that right there.
they were,
Um,
yeah.
no,
But mainly, and
yeah,
when
no,
it comes, yeah, when it comes to the Levant, it was kind of split down with Lebanon and what is now Israel. The French had their control
so
piece in Lebanon, but the moral of the story is it was Western. It was a Western piece of imperialism to have their niche in the Middle East for oil. It all goes back to oil. I mean,
sure,
and it was
the
for the
money.
resources. So resources brings money. It also, I mean, trade. It also goes back. This goes back thousands of years. It also goes back to trade. I mean, why were the Crusades fought? It wasn't really a Christian versus Muslim war. It was
Yes,
for
it
the
was.
trade routes. Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Well, yeah,
They resulted in the trade routes. The Christian
yeah.
crusades were done with whether you like them or not. And I'm talking to everyone here. Whether you like it or not, it was done through integrity on their part that they
Mm,
believed. They believed that they were in the right morally. And I think most of that is true. Now,
mhm,
it did result in multiplicity of uh, trade
mhm,
successes, right?
mhm,
Because we can argue about how they wore those their way into trades, but the trades
Mm-hmm.
were eventually successful for them. And oil, big time included, spices, big time included. But
Oh yeah.
I do think that beyond a shadow of a doubt, the Christian Crusades were done morally on their objective thought process that they were doing the will of God and not just being evil.
Mm. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you also had the protection of pilgrims. I mean, venturing to the Holy Land, to the holiest sites of where Jesus walks. So, I mean, there was definitely a religious aspect to the Crusades. It does circumnavigate towards the trade routes, but yeah, you can have a resource war and a trade war on the
It devolved
inter,
to the
not,
trade routes.
yeah, kind of coinciding along that religious uh, factor.
Sure. And look, I'm not trying to get into this very esoteric argument of the
I mean,
Crusades
we
and
can.
I know it's wonderful. It's absolutely fantastic. I would absolutely proclaim that I am not an expert on this. This is something that I'm very surface level info on. I'm much more involved with like the Bible itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more a theologian and a an apologist for liberty um, antics than I
Mm-hmm.
am the history. You are much better on the nuance and details of the history of things with the little details. You're much better at that than I am. But
Yeah,
I
but I'm
just
really only I'm the same with you. I'm really just touching the surface level with the Crusades. I'm not I need to study up more on the Crusades as
oh
well.
way more for me, way
Yeah,
more.
it's
For me,
it's
way more.
fascinating. Mhm.
And there was obviously atrocities committed during the freaking
Mhm.
war. It's
Well,
a war.
it's a
Every
war, yeah.
war is
And
atrocious. Every war is
and get
demonic
this.
and evil.
Yeah, and get this. Civilians were casualties.
It's shocker.
I mean, yeah. I mean that's the evils of war.
It's
Civilians are
called
caught in the
war.
crossfire. Yeah. So,
It's
and
called war.
I hate I think I hate the fact that we are in this argument in today's world with what's going on in Israel, but I think the reason is because we live in a time where we actually get to see it up front and personal on our computers or on our cell phones, on with social media all over the place, and people call it a genocide over there, but I think it has more to do with the fact that you're seeing the atrocities of war in real time. And it's disgusting and it's evil and it's demonic and babies are dying and but it's not it doesn't mean it's a genocide. It just means states go to war and it gets pretty brutal.
Yeah, no
So,
doubt about it.
mm-hmm,
If we're talking about, and this is one of my big things, and this is what I've been fighting for a long time, is the etymological battle. The
mm-hmm,
definition of words and phraseology is a big deal for me because it's not a genocide. This is objectively false. No matter where you fall on the scale,
mm-hmm,
that part has to be understood because a genocide requires, by legal definition, the eradication of an ethnic group or a religious group. If
mm-hmm.
Israel wanted to eradicate those groups, any said group whatsoever, they would have done it on October 8th, not
Yeah.
waiting years and delivering aid to the people that they're actually hurting. Let's be honest, they
Mm-hmm,
are actually hurting the people of Gaza, the Palestinians. This is a real thing. Doesn't make it a
mm-hmm,
genocide, but they're absolutely putting these
mm-hmm,
people in a dire situation. That's very real. And I hate all of it. I want all of it to stop. I don't want any
mm-hmm.
Israeli or American or Jewish or Palestinian or Gazan or Arab to suffer
Mm-hmm.
because of horrible effing decisions based on the leadership of any country.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. I hate it with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. But we got to be honest. It's not a genocide. If Israel wanted to genocide the Gaza Strip, the Palestinians, they would have done so within 24 hours because they have the capability. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just ridiculous. I hate that conversation. I think that America, the West, is falling apart by the second. And we should actually be focused much more on what's happening here in these United States than any other space in the region that claims to be on this earth. Period.
And speaking of falling apart on the West, we're going to transition. We're going to come back, but we're going to transition to something a little bit more positive than what we've been starting on. So, but first, get yourself a
Nice.
little bit of dose of reality and smoke a bowl or a joint, whatever it is. Buds in reality. It's politically charged. It is the number one libertarian podcast in all of Detroit, hosted by Sean Collins.
Nice.
Go ahead and check that out. Latest episode just dropped with Mike Decentralized. So he's like
Wow.
he's just he might as well just become Buds' co-host. So, but check out Buds in reality. So
That's a phenomenal
check it out.
combo.
Yeah, it's a
Like
fantastic combo.
Sean is just, but and for listening for y'all, Sean, Buds in reality is a firestorm, just a
Mm.
heater,
Mm-hmm.
incredible. And Mike Decentralized is just a freaking encyclopedia of knowledge, just incredible. So yeah, definitely.
You talk to Mike and it's like you just step back in time and you're actually talking to Thomas Paine.
That
So and
guy's
he,
incredible.
mm-hmm. He really is. And I mean, Township Liberation. I mean, at Town Liberation, if you haven't followed, he has a workshop spaces every Tuesday at 4, yeah, at 3 or 4 Eastern Standard Time, something like that. If you want to drop in there, get into the conversation, or just listen, bounce around ideas of just different liberty-minded and libertarian minds all across the world. So, and then on Thursdays, and it's going podcast form, but he does the same thing on Thursdays as well, live here on X. So, I mean, so
For the most
yeah,
part, same
definitely.
thing. For
Mm-hmm.
the most part, same thing. Anybody espousing true liberty values that would mean substantial advances in your life monetarily, not just monetarily, but legally in a
Mm-hmm.
very substantial way. You would be wise to listen to your local libertarians, not the ones that are endorsing Chase Oliver. Stop that. Although there's information there that's valuable
Mm-hmm.
economically and to a rights, but what Zach is talking about, referencing these people, I believe, are much more valuable than any federal election. What they can do is, and what
Mm-hmm.
you can do, primarily what you need to do, people, is to focus on your judge, your sheriff, your state attorney general, your local school board. These things are much more valuable to you than any federal race whatsoever. These people, your school board, your state attorney general, your local sheriff, you can hire and fire the people that are cops in a local sheriff county. Okay. We should move to all that. That's my opinion. We don't have to abolish the police. Let's go to an all sheriff situation where we can continue to minimize a militarized police force and a concept of the mind that we need to have people that have the legal right to delete you, as opposed to let's get to a spot where we can actually hold these people accountable. And the way you can hold them accountable is at the local level. You can vote, and I encourage you to vote for the federal elections. Good luck, right? But the people that have the most power over you are the people that are right above you, and they're parasites leeching off of you with a paycheck that comes from your money. And we're talking about your local city council. If you're not willing to hold those people accountable who leech off of your own money, then I'm not sure really where we go from there. Because that has much more sway over your life than any federal election. Period. Point.
You got
Local.
you got two choices, in my opinion. You can either try to work local and try to build something local, or you can take the option of finding somewhere where you can be treated best. Go to the nomad capitalist route. So, and speaking of
But you,
that, yeah, I'd like to.
y-
I have a couple-minute video, and I want your take on these couple takes from Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. So let me. Oh,
Same way, we need to keep immigrants from coming in, including they want to reduce legal immigrants. And if you agree with them, fine. I respect that. But why should you, as a citizen of the country, have fewer options because of their sort of jingoistic view of the world? This commenter says many closed-minded people on the far right would agree that there should not be dual citizenship. And we've seen, I don't like to throw around terms, but certainly there's some people who are anti-Semitic about it. Not to say that everything said about Israel is anti-Semitic, but there's been some anti-Semitic comments about dual citizenship, and people use that as kind of their fuel. Policies against dual citizenship would most likely occur under a far-right government. Yeah, I mean, if we look at the governments around the world that opened up dual citizenship, which has happened to a greater extent than you might think over the last 25 years, they might be center-left. I don't know if they're far-left. They were probably more center-left. I mean, Germany is opening up. Now they're making it easier to naturalize, which you might agree with or not, but is making it easier to become a dual citizen German. I think it's a good thing. The world has changed, and it is the nature of gentlemen, and should be the nature of countries, to change with them. And so this
what happened?
so what's your take on dual citizenship and going where you're
Well,
treated best? I mean, what's your take on that? Do you
I
think
mean
that
that
people should have the option to be able to go find their own niche elsewhere, take their assets with them, take themselves with and find a way to find somewhere where they can attach themselves elsewhere?
of course. Yeah, you're talking about private property.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, essentially what you said was like their own stuff. That's private
Mm-hmm.
property. Of
Mm-hmm.
course. Yes, they should be able to take that where they want, so long as the society that they are claiming to be a part of, that society they need to acclimate to. They need to adopt those principles. That's amazing. Like, that would be great if every person that was that remarkable and, just exceeded all expectations or just even the bare minimum. And then they're very much adamantly wanting to be a part of Western society, wanting to be a part of American culture. 1,000%. Yeah, I want them here.
Mhm.
I want the immigrants that have an IQ of less than 100, but are willing to work hard because they love the idea of America. I would deport every freaking progressive, leftist American in lieu of accepting those people. Full stop.
Mm.
Get out. If you hate this country that much, get out. Go. Be gone. I'm not against like just removing you physically as a liberty-based American, not via government. Get out and give me all the immigrants that actually love the American ideals. 100%.
How very Hoppian of you, physically removing them. You do
Well, I
realize
mean,
he meant ostracize them, right? No. Sometimes you do have to physically remove. I mean, depending on
no,
your
I did.
community, but yeah.
In all honesty, I have not read Hop. Sorry.
Mhm.
No, you're you're saying no, I promise I have not.
Hmm.
This is just my own perspective that if you hate it this much, then go. Be gone. We'll take all the immigrants that are willing to work hard and love this country because of the
Mhm.
opportunity that it gives. Bye. See ya. And
Yeah.
the fortunate and ironic part of that is that it would all be progressive leftists. The conservatives would all stay and say, "Nah, I'm good. I love this country. I want to no matter what that policy is, I'm going to stay here because I believe this is my best opportunity."
Mhm. I mean, you got to find home where home is. So, I mean, I think in a global world, a world where it's full scale in today's day and age, where you have the option to go, that's that's marvelous because you can build yourself up and then you can escape and go see the world, go find maybe your home, you were born an American, but maybe this is just not your place. Maybe you can find home and peace and prosperity and your niche in Georgia, not the state, the nation state. I mean, or Malta or Liechtenstein or Nigeria. It doesn't matter where you want to go. So, I mean, I am all for the nomadic lifestyle of choosing where you believe your negative rights are going to be treated best. So, if you want to attach yourself, like I've looked into dual passport system. I mean, there's some marvelous programs out there. One is St. Kitts and Nevis. I mean, if you have the assets, you can move your assets and yourself there. You can apply for citizenship, and then you can get yourself a dual passport that gives you visa free for almost 150 countries. Then you can
So
travel the world. So, or you can stay at home and you can build something here and try to make a life. It's wherever your pathway is in life.
so let me ask you this without the nuance. What country do you or what man in charge of what country would you rather go to? Would it be one with like a Donald Trump who controls the borders and not. And I'm being honest here because look, we're letting in third world Islamist extremists that hate
Mhm.
everything that this country stands for. They hate everything that isn't their belief system, and especially hate their the idea of Christianity and the belief and philosophy of Christianity.
Which
What
is
do
kind
you
of
think
sad
about?
because I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna
Go,
say,
go.
yeah, it's kind of sad to hate Christianity because I mean Islam, Judaism, and Christianity are they're triplets. We all come from Abraham.
They're not triplets, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're
Well, I
three
mean,
of
I
the
guess
same philosophy.
similar
So,
philosophy. I guess technically Islam's the bastard child, literally and figuratively.
yeah, you're
So,
pretty much right on that one for
mhm,
sure. Christianity is a birthright of Judaism,
mhm,
birthplace. A bastard child would absolutely be Islam for sure.
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
But
I mean, we do got to fix the border shit though.
I don't know how you do that. Honestly,
That's
I don't. You have to shut it down. Okay.
mhm,
This is my opinion. The best way to do it, if you're not trying to use the border as a freaking campaign election issue, which has always been done, mostly by
mhm.
Republicans. But if you actually wanted to fix the border, why do we have troops all over the world when they could just sit right there on the border and vet everyone? Explain
I
that to
mean,
me. I
I
don't
mean,
know how.
at one time we did. I mean, we actually invaded Mexico. Not the Mexican War, not just the Mexican War, but we actually invaded Mexico in
Yeah,
the 1910s during the revolution.
I don't
We
want to
sent the
invade
yeah,
Mexico.
yeah. We actually sent the 7th Cavalry down to the border as an expeditionary force to actually secure the border. I mean, so you got kind of have a point. Like if we have all these troops and all these bases all across the world for empire and the empire of the dollar, they're there literally to protect the asset of the petrodollar, which is dying, by the way. Why not just bring them home and have a border patrol that's soldiers, trained soldiers.
It doesn't make any sense why we would have,
Hmm.
other than if you're trying to bully the world economy into the US dollar, which we know is true. Okay. But without the nuance of that. Yes, we bully the world into the US dollar. That's a fact. We do that through military, you know,
Hmm.
infringement, bullyment.
Hmm.
But there's so many more ways to to solve conflicts because of that concept, and we can do it. It feels intentional right now what we're doing with our literally escalating the tensions on the world stage. Doesn't matter the country. I can point to many countries, but it feels like we are escalating something that should not be escalated. I'm trying to be careful here with YouTube. Right? You understand
uh,
what I'm saying, right?
oh, I know what you're saying. And honestly,
Okay.
the hell with YouTube. We'll be canceled in no time. So
I'm trying to make sure people don't nuke the hell out of every freaking country because that's what's
yeah.
on the docket right now.
Hmm.
I mean, like, that's real. It could happen tomorrow. You listen to people that have been experts in this field, a variety of radio programs, whether you like them or not, be it Tim Pool, Glenn Beck, the Young Turks, all of them absolutely have covered this stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look good.
No. I mean, speaking of the world about ready to be nuked, I guess, or
I
very
wouldn't say
close. I
that, but
mean,
just in,
yeah,
yeah,
North,
close
yeah,
being calamity, right? Like
mm-hmm.
just total uh,
We're,
confusion and
mm-hmm,
destruction. And it may not happen in every city, but it'll
mm-hmm,
happen like a lot of cities.
mm-hmm.
It's not
Yeah. No,
some,
speaking of border issues and very close to the doomsday clock ticking, closer to World War III and potential calamity. Um, North Korea, they've they they've
yeah,
done secured their border down there with South Carolina. Yeah,
yeah.
Freudian slip. Uh, South Korea, in
Yeah.
preparation to. It, I don't know if it's preparation, but preparation for them and thinking that South Korea is going to invade them, while they're also sending troops to Russia to march onto Ukraine.
My fundamental belief, if that's what you're asking, like
Mm-hmm.
my core belief is that, and this is going to be kind of a black pill.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe any of these people. I think it's all theater. I don't think that no.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think North Korean troops are in Russia? Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah.
Are they doing it to stage some internet and persevere, you know, perception of that country is going to help Russia? No, I don't know about all that. I think it's all fog, and this is why I reject most of the other stuff. It's because I
Mm-hmm.
just don't know. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a veteran. I was in the military. I wasn't a big part of it, but I I can kind of relate to the fact that like you can't trust any of this information. And I I just don't. I don't trust
Yeah.
any of it.
I mean, I think it's all a work anyways. It's just another. The work. I mean, it's a meme. It really is a meme anymore. We're literally ever since 2016 and Trump won in 2016. It's the political sphere has it's been driven like tenfold into a WWE script. Like we really
So
are on Raw right now.
yeah, well, the reason for that is that, and this is what I was going to say, is that the construct mentally of this idea that politics is squared in, and we all believe this integrity part. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to believe this truth. If that's not, then we abandon that and we move to something else. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think what was truly just obliterated was that concept in which we couldn't anymore have a civil conversation based on what is or isn't true because we became so tribalistic that
Mm-hmm.
this quote unquote truth is more important than the actual quote unquote truth, if that makes sense.
And that it goes right back to the border issue. I mean, because of the politics that's causing all this tribalism, and then now look where we're at. I mean, we have people literally going down to the park chopping up ducks' necks and eating them. I was trying to sound like the dude,
You
but
might,
I failed.
yeah, you might get a
But
strike
that's
on that.
real. I probably will on that one, but it's a meme, YouTube. It really is a meme now. But regardless of whether or not it's true, I mean, or false, or I mean, it doesn't matter. The fact is like the polarization of politics has just boiled over to it's boiled over. I don't know what else to say.
No,
Like,
yeah,
what
no,
is next? What is next?
I, I think wholeheartedly, and this is a big thing for me, and I know you know this, or I think you know this. Um, the real world doesn't exist in Twitter. Twitter is not a real place.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us that are politically engaged on a super high level,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're engaged in Twitter, and our feed is just filled with politics. But the
Yep.
average American is not. Twitter is
Mm-hmm.
not a real place. Less than 25% of Americans are on Twitter. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to remind ourselves that, and when we speak to people out in the wild, which we should be doing every day. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
can say that with privilege because I have a job that allows me to speak to new people almost on a daily basis. And I do. And I
Mm-hmm.
have the personality that I do. So I understand all that. But everybody else should be engaging their fellow person in every manner to try to co opt the friendship and relationship and the engagement that is required to make this country healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Because if we want to be healthy again, it's going to start right here. And where it starts right here is us beginning to diagnose and acclimate to the truth of what is information. And then from there, we proceed and we build a better future. Period.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I concur with that. I mean, get out. Like get away from take a break, touch some grass, go talk to some people. I mean, if you have a job where you actually have to communicate, like try to sneak in an actual like real discussion with with people instead of just the mundane like sales pitch, right? So like I was just at the cigar lounge and I met a couple of guys. One of them was an older feller, and we just bullshitted just about everything. I mean, from the sky to what's going on in
Did,
politics, and it's
did,
and it's
did he mention
interesting.
Trump?
Oh, of course. He mentioned
Yeah.
actually he basically mentioned it's all a shit show. His words, not mine. Like there, I don't even know where to go with this.
What
I'm
did
like, I
what
don't
what
about Trump. He's like, I don't really like the guy, but you know what? I'm gonna vote for him because you know what? I ain't voting for that. What did he call? He had some choice words for Kamala. Let's just put it that way. Not safe words for YouTube. So, but at the same time, he was also able to look at it and tell me like, but I mean, Trump, he's gonna probably do it wrong again. His policies are gonna probably be
I mean, can
in
you
the
do it
tanking,
right?
but can you do it right? Exactly. Can you do it right when you're president and you got this ear and this person in your ear and this person in your ear and bureaucrats,
I
a
mean,
Congress that
yeah, the
fights.
bureaucracy.
Yeah, I mean, a central bank that controls the monopoly of the money supply. I mean, what
Like,
can
could
a
you
president
imagine
do?
if Trump shut down the federal bank? Could you
I
imagine that?
I would donate to his campaign in 2042.
Well, he wouldn't be able to run again. But asking honestly, could you if he shut down the Fed, forget that it's Trump.
That'd be wonderful. Doesn't matter who it is at this point. If he shuts down the Fed, then that's first off, because it's Donald Trump, it's just
Yeah.
the perfect middle finger.
How long do you think it
So,
would take to recover from that? Because we would feel an immediate impact,
mhm.
like it would be real bad,
Oh
real
yeah.
fast, right?
Uh,
So
that's hard.
how long do you think we
Yeah,
will recover?
that's hard to tell because it's been what 111 years now that the Federal Reserve's been active. I mean, all of its policies, the deficit, that the tremendous deficit. What were we at? We're at like 36 trillion. It's gonna be probably years. We're gonna be feeling it for probably a few years before we truly start feeling the
Now,
correction.
how bad do you think it's going to get if we don't shut down the Fed? And how many years do you think that's
Oh, it's gonna
going
be
to
it's
accumulate?
it's gonna be it'll probably be just as worse, but it'll be catastrophic. And it'll probably and we might not recover from the hyperinflation that they're putting us on track for.
How do you think we can recover now?
Honestly,
I'm
it's
not
it,
trying to
yeah,
black pill and be
no,
negative to
no,
everyone. I'm just
no.
asking honest questions because I don't see how we recover in the immediate future, even if Donald Trump
We
were the best
hmm
anarcho-capitalist on the world. He could be
we
Javier Milei, and he's
yeah,
not going to be able to pull this off in 4 years. That's just reality.
we start well in order for us to start recovering for the impending doom, we have to start setting ourselves up now and preparing. And one thing is you have alternatives now within blockchain technology, and then on top of that, you also have gold, silver, copper. I mean,
So how do you
yeah.
implement that on the governmental level? Right? Like, on a very surface level situation, say I go to the DMV and I wanna update
Mhm.
my, um, driver's license.
Mhm.
I wanna use cryptocurrency.
Mhm.
How is that not tracked? Or is that not even gonna ever be an option? Give me all the
Well,
details.
the thing about blockchain, I mean, there's ways to get around and not be tracked. I mean, that's the whole point of how the blockchain was supposed to be set up. So you have different parameters within the blockchain where you can take private coins or private tokens, you can tokenize and run a transition through decentralized means. So I wish I had Andrew here right now because he would be able to he'd dive into this. He's
Okay,
the
no,
better
no.
man right now to discuss the blockchain. So, but I mean, it's the decentralization aspect, and how do we get people to actually open up to that? We educate them, and we fulfill on a governmental level. We're going to have to change the policies that allow for alternatives rather than be forced into using the dollar. And I think one
Uh,
way to do that is we need to educate, or we need to make the technology itself user friendly, because you and I, like, and everybody, we can take this phone and we can get on a, like, you have Apple or Android, whatever, you can use Google Pay or Apple Pay to pay digitally, right? Well, you could do the same on the blockchain and be just as anonymous and decentralized in your purchasing power. The problem is there's nothing has been it's all for cypherpunk nerds, really, right? I mean, it hasn't been dumbed down for user friendliness for the normies. And that's what we need to focus on, is how do we get blockchain into the hands of the normies, of our boomers effectively, right? and that's making it user friendly, as easy as Apple Pay and Google Pay.
I don't know. I would say that boomers are the target demographic. I would probably say millennials.
Well, millennials. I was just using boomers because, boomer brain. Even though they've grown up as technology has evolved, like, come on, boomers. You've grown up with technology.
They're the ones I
So,
blame for all the consequences that we're going through. No, no, abject resistance there for sure.
mhm,
I believe that
mhm.
the boomers are probably not probably the number one problem of all the economic decisions that have plagued this country for so long, and that we're trying to figure out.
You
So
have a fan. Welcome, William. So, go through some
nice.
comments. Oh, yeah. Mhm. But yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to train people. We need to educate people. We need to make things user friendly. Keyword is user friendly. So, and we
Yeah,
need to be we need to stop being so stubborn with each other. But go on,
and
go on.
no, that they got to be more transparent.
Mhm.
That's just a fact. Like everybody has to be more transparent. Be honest. The only way we're gonna heal as a country if we're being transparent and saying like, look, this is how I really feel. Change my mind, or you can't. In a lot of scenarios, you're not going to be able to change that person's mind, and that's okay. But at
Mhm.
least they're being honest, and we're all being honest. That's the way we get back to where we can have a civilization that avoids violence, which is crazy to even think about.
Digital decentralized programmable money.
Yeah.
That's mm-mm-mm.
I mean, decentralized money, a digital currency that isn't monitored by the government is going to be something that's fantastic. Even if it's just you, bartering for bronze or bullets or
Mhm.
food or water. That stuff
Mhm.
is amazing. That is going to be the system you should really look into, if I'm being honest.
Mhm. Mhm. For real, for real. So, uh, and to jump back, let's take a short little break once again and do some ad reads. Once again, go check out Buds in Reality, the number one libertarian podcast in Detroit. The man with a whole lot to say, a whole lot to say, John Collins. Go check out his pod right now. Right now, he has Mike Decentralized, but he's had a number of guests on there, including Noel quite a few times. So go check out Buds in Reality. So, and speaking of another ad, uh, Noel's wearing one of the shirts. I actually am too, man. 2.3 trillion. So, but head
Communism is
to
the model.
whotouchedit.com. Who touched the thermostat? Go follow that dude as well. But to get yourself a political statement, man. Communism is in fact demonic, and like right here, $2.3 trillion. Like that's never forget September 10th, 2001. So so, but back in action, some craziness going on this week. Eminem decided to, I guess, prove he was a chud and not a Chad. What is up
And
with celebrities and endorsing Democrats these days?
well, they're all in the gang. It's one big club, and we ain't in it. All there is to it. There's Republicans in there too, but there's got to be a facade lead. and they got to lie to you. Period. There's a big
Mm-hmm.
old paragraph of people that are just awful. They're the worst. They're in this child molestation, evil people realm. And then you have other people that are, partial parties, and then others that are never going to be allowed.
Mm-hmm. Kind of makes you wonder what kind of skeletons are in all these celebrities' closets. Probably
I
none
don't want to know.
for a lot of them, but I mean I don't really want to know either. But I got another clip, so let's check that out of Obama trying to rap to "Lose Yourself."
It's terrible.
It's horrible.
It's so bad. Don't subject these people to.
So look, I wrote down a few things I wanted to say. I love you too. Thank you. I'm here tonight for a couple of important reasons. As most of you know, the city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan mean a lot to me. And going into this election, the spotlight is on us more than ever, and I think it's important to use your voice. So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please. I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld. And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
They look like they were at a Diddy party.
You know, I have done a lot of rallies, so I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem.
No, you weren't.
Now I noticed
That's so gay.
my palms are sweaty,
So fake.
knees weak,
It is.
Oh my
arms are
God.
heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting.
He actually, I think he is staring into a teleprompter.
It's terrible. This is awful. I'm embarrassed for him.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Like it's either it's either that much of a joke, or and they know it and they just don't
No.
care, or
That's
It's-
it. There's
yeah.
there's no other explanation. They legitimately think that these people are that effing stupid.
mm-hmm.
That's what they think. Period.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad, and the way that Eminem presents himself, and I don't know, saying that he's all, yeah, I mean, he loves Detroit and Michigan.
It's
I
the
mean,
whole
no, you
thing.
don't. I don't even think he's.
And they're trying to piggyback off the fact that Trump said
Mm.
that Kamala
Mhm.
would turn everybody into Detroit, even though they took that out
Yeah.
of freaking context. None of it's working anymore because we all have social media.
Mhm.
We all know Detroit is a absolute crap hole.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that. And so this attempt to try and persuade the average person that goes to the grocery store, goes to the daily market, goes to the internet to buy things on average, it's like not super rich, just
Mhm.
trying to buy what I need.
And you said a point earlier that, I mean, the real Twitter is not the real world, right? And it just seems like in politics, especially more so I see it more with the Democrats than I do with the Republicans, but they both do this. They pander to their constituents as if it's all Twitter. But in reality, you just hit it right there. Most people they're not on Twitter. Not everybody's even on social media in general. You might have a Facebook to stay with family, but people just they want to be able to go home or go to work, come home, be with their family, pay their bills, and afford groceries. Nothing else
Honestly,
matters.
I do think that that's one of the biggest failures in the Democrat Party. If I'm being honest, um, and this is why they're so out of touch with the average American. Is because they spend all of their time reflecting on what the internet bounces back to them in a positive or negative manner, when they just don't understand that most Americans are just going to be, they'll hit the internet, get some fun out of it, and boom, they're back to raising their kids and going to work and doing the average normal life. And they can't understand. They're so tapped in to the fact that they do think Twitter is real life that they can't escape from that mindset. It's captivity. Really, they're just, a slave to the mindset of whatever the mainstream media or, super ultra filtered funnel of information. That's the truth. And they can't get out of it. They're just stuck.
How do we fix that
You don't.
measure of a narrative?
You can't.
Mm.
You just have to hope that the neighbor you talk to, the parent you talk to, the brother, the sister, the cousin, the neighbor, the 4 streets down neighbor, that you speak to them honestly and then give them real solutions. And if they vote a certain way, they vote a certain way. That's not the objective. The objective is to sway hearts and minds. And first and foremost, it has to be for Jesus Christ. That's it. You're not changing anybody. You're not having any effect on society or culture or any nation or any county or continent, period, if you're not operating in Jesus Christ. That has to be first and foremost. And then people will understand that when you talk the truth, you mean it. But you're not getting anywhere without Jesus Christ. And be honest. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Amen to that. Christ, 4 things. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, and always open your heart to Christ. That's all that matters. Be honest. Oh, and that's
Can't
what
do
we've
it.
lost in that's what we've lost in today's day and age is we've lost honesty. I mean, I don't know, part of it might be just the mesh of social media and the corruption of politics and both colliding with each other. And then part of it is people are just afraid in today's day and age. I don't know. I guess maybe like back when we were kids, I guess stranger danger really coddled us millennials.
Yeah, well, we just lived in a different age where everybody just kind of had the same moral value. Again, like
Mhm.
James Madison said, the
Mhm.
Constitution is only for a moral and religious people. And that
Mhm.
moral and religious society was based upon Judeo Christian values.
Mhm.
So it was always about, like, this is what the Bible says, this is what Jesus says, and we need to live by this code. And once we started to evacuate that very sense, then everything started to devolve into whose rights mattered more. And that's where you get human rights. Right? It's not actually human rights. It's just whatever your psychological dereliction of absent truth involves. It's what can you decide in your own mind that is or isn't moral? And where does that lead you? Into degradation. Because there's no other possible result other than, well, my own instincts, the things that make my flesh feel great. That's what's a human right. So when James Madison said the Constitution is only for moral and religious people, he was correct. Because what happened as a result of us abandoning that society was the definition of moral decay, in which we have a decline in the human population. We have a decline in the family nuclear structure, meaning father, mother, kids, good thing. Now they're just destroying that now. That's reckless. That's antithetical to everything known to human society.
So here's a question for you,
can't.
Noel.
No,
Are
I
we
see.
ready for anarchy? Are we ready to respect property, and are we nonviolent enough to allow for anarchy finally?
No. No. No chance. It would devolve into absolute chaos, not anarchy in the sense that the media tries to portray. I'm an anarcho-capitalist. Okay. That if I were to have my fundamental beliefs implemented into the governmental structure of society, it would be privatized. Anarcho-capitalist. That's my worldview. Second to only what Jesus Christ tells me to do. There's no way we can do that right now. There's just not. It would cause destruction. It would cause chaos. A lot of people would infer a lot of pain, unnecessary pain. It has to be scaled back term to term, or the Band-Aid has to be ripped off, like what he's suggesting, and then we suffer the consequences. Actually, if you're looking for the better long-term result, then ripping the Band-Aid off and just go ahead, remove all government and see what happens. Then your society, if you base it on private property and your willingness to defend that speech and property via violence, you have a society ready. Yes. It will suck for a while though.
Good stuff. So, well, Noel, we've run well over. We always do this on the Legacy, right? Me and Andrew do. And especially when you come on, so which is always awesome. But gotta call it though. So, any final words or and how about some plugs to go with it?
Yeah, for sure. Follow me on at the Cajun Libert one. Sorry, I messed it up. It's my secondary handle on Twitter, but it has a little over 30,000 followers. Follow me on Instagram at the Cajun Libertarian. most importantly, though, I would say that beyond a shadow of a doubt, the best thing that you can do right now in your life and in my life specifically is focus on Jesus Christ. That's it. Like that's the biggest acclimate. That's the most major way that you can succeed in this life, because you will understand what it means to have the Holy Spirit in your heart. So focus on Jesus Christ. That's what I would say. And then don't give up. Don't give up.
Mhm.
We got this. We're gonna win. The back of the Bible tells, read the back of the book. It tells us we win. So don't take the black. I've taken the black pill like a lot. The information that I have withheld from my wife is astronomical, because I don't want her to feel that negativity and to be like, Leo, if that's true, we're in trouble. No, we're not. We control this, but we control it through the Holy Spirit of God and being believers in Jesus Christ. Period. Point blank. There's no other way to say it. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody gets to the Father except through him. Period.
Amen. Amen. So again, I mean, I can do all things in Christ. So that's what we need to get back to. So thank you again for coming on and being my Andrew tonight, Noel. So everybody, don't. I know you all won't, but don't, if you haven't. Every Tuesday and Thursday, at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Make sure you check out Off the Wire live on YouTube and X. So
thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
No, I don't pretend to be Andrew. I'm sure I'm not Andrew. That guy's great. So I just hopefully we can we can get everything back together and start maneuvering and navigating the ship in the right direction. I think you guys are great, but no, I don't think that I'm ever a replacement for Andrew. That guy's pretty incredible. I'm very
he's
much
smart as a whip. He's
Yeah.
smart as a whip. We just need to get him to talk a lot more. So
well, that's true. Yeah. He's very smart. I would love for him to talk a lot more, because he's incredible. And yeah, it'd be great. Great for everyone.
Well, with that, everybody, repost this, share this, get the message out, like, subscribe. You know the whole drill, and stay tuned for the final outro. Speaking of Andrew, he put his creative work to this, and especially if you're a fan of wrestling. So, and if you ever want to donate, that's what it's there for. So, but it's also just very creative. So, stay tuned, and let's take it on out. So, I am the legacy of Jennifer and Kaiser, and that's the Cajun Libertarian, Noel Orlin. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pete Roosevelt, and I'd like to welcome you to WCW Nitro.
You know, brother, you think you know what it takes to beat Hollywood Hogan, who wants to climb in the ring and try out the largest arms in the world. Oh, stop.
You want to wrestle an inch more Ric Flair, you gotta be able to walk that out and style and profile.
ready for the spin? You really think you're ready for the Scorpion Deathlock? You think you're ready for a fatal encounter?
This is why they call me the total package. Do you have a pain threshold to withstand the torture rack? Let's find out.
Hallo, hier ist Alex Wright. Wenn ihr High-Flying Wrestling-Action wollt, Spinning Sidekick, Top Turnbuckle Dropkick, dann nehmt mich. Der Sieg ist euch sicher. Versprecht euch.
Oh yeah! Watch the flying elbow drop off the top rope. Not only beat people 1, 2, 3, but I hurt him real bad.
It only takes one of 1,000 holds. I think you're man enough for the challenge.
You better be ready to wrestle, because you know, when you get in the ring with Eddie Guerrero, it's going to be high-flying and exciting.
Hey, anytime you feel froggy, man, I'll slap on the buzz killer, rip your shoulder right out of socket. Wolfpack style!
Hey, funky boy. Like there's a choice here? Good God! Pick the man with the plan. Pick deep.
Hey, all you suckers out there, you wanna play the game? You wanna play with the big boy? Put your feet on the button, cause when you go down 110th Street, it's gonna be on like Netbone, sucker. This is Booker T from Harlem Heat, hardcore OG brother from 110th Street. The minute you pump, got the guts to step up to the plate, push the plate.
Yo, Chico, you selected Scott Hall? Get ready for a wild ride on the outside.
Hey there! How'd you like to get power bomb? Come on, take me. I'm begging you, take me. Please take me.
You think you got the courage to step in the ring? I think you're gonna wind up with a snap neck from the choke slam.
Technical wrestler, high flyer, brawler. Don't matter what you consider yourself to be. When you're in the ring with the crippler, you're a loser.